Bite the Tongue, back with another one. This is your boy, Mafioso, where it's too real for TV and too raw for the radio. Generation X, that's my era. 1965 to the 1980s. 80, baby. But I'm a 70, baby. Man, Generation X was that year, was those years. A lot of people can relate to Generation X, so let's do a reaction about Generation X.
Do you remember a time when happiness didn't live inside a screen? When childhood meant scraped knees, dusty shoes, and coming home only when the streetlights turned on?
I remember, how many of y'all remember when your mom or dad or grandma used to tell you, don't let that street light beat you home. That street light come on before you get home, you was in trouble. That was the most memorable moment right there with the street lights. When the street lights came on, you knew, hey, it's time to get home. Yo, I see y'all tomorrow. I gotta go home.
When friends were real, not profiles. When boredom created imagination and silence created strength.
Yeah, see, it wasn't no profiles. It wasn't no Facebook, social media back then. If you was bored, you had to find you something to do with whatever you had around you or by you, whether you was by yourself or with your friends.
For Gen X, this isn't just memory, this was your life. Today, let's talk about Gen X, the generation born between 1965 and 1980. The generation that grew up without the internet, but had to adapt to a world controlled by it.
Yeah, we ain't had the internet, you know, but you see how we adjusting to the world that's controlled by the internet now? It's a whole lot of things that's different from now to back then. It was I have a lot of moments and good memories from back then.
You grew up in a world that didn't constantly explain itself. You learned by watching, by failing, by getting back up without applause. They're often called the forgotten generation. You were raised in a time of balance. Parents worked hard. Rules existed, but so did freedom. You were trusted to figure things out. You walked to school alone.
I remember we lived in California, Monterey, Seaside, Florida. I was going to kindergarten. I had to walk to school back and forth by myself. My mom took me one time or two times. She took me the route. It was a straight shot, but I had to go through like a hill and like a wood area type thing. But it was like kind of in the army base type thing. But yeah, I had to get up, walk to school, and I had to walk back home. You know?
Solved problems without Google. You learned patience because everything took time.
Right.
Psychologically, this created something rare today, self-reliance. Gen X learned early that the world wouldn't always rescue them, so they learned to rescue themselves.
That's right.
That's not cold, that's strength. Back no one talked much about mental health, but that didn't make you weak. It made you adaptable. Gen X was not raised to talk about feelings. They were raised to deal with it.
Yeah. Back then, they ain't really care how you felt. It was all about, okay, we don't want to hear how you going to solve it. So you really had to fix and solve your problems by yourself. You ain't had all this extra stuff helping you, you know what I'm saying? You was like, you had to do things on your own, and you had to figure it out.
Be strong. Don't make noise. So you learned early to sit with discomfort, to push through hard days, to keep moving even when life didn't feel fair. So many of you learned to hide stress, normalize exhaustion, carry responsibility quietly. Psychology calls this resilience, the ability to bend without breaking. You didn't need constant validation. You didn't expect instant results.
Yeah, you ain't had nobody hyping you up, or you didn't have to. Well, some places you felt like you had to fit in, but you was good by yourself, because they ain't had all this social media and we got to keep up with this person, that person. He got the flyest clothes, he don't, or she got the flyest clothes, and she don't. It didn't matter. You could have had some cheap pair of shoes, cheap clothes, and you was still good back then. Now you can't have no shoes on from Walmart. They gonna clown you.
You understood that real growth is quiet, and that's why Gen X carries a calm confidence. Not loud, not flashy, but deeply rooted. Do you remember normal life? Simple weekends, family dinners, conversations without distraction.
Man, when grown folks was talking, you couldn't interrupt that conversation. You had to be quiet. You had to raise your hand and then spoke. You know what I'm saying? The weekends was fun. Now it's just you get up, go about your business, and there's nothing planned, there's nothing scheduled. We used to look forward to the weekend.
Moments that didn't need to be recorded to matter. Your brain developed in a slower world, one that allowed focus, patience, and emotional regulation. That's why Gen X often feels grounded. You know who you are without needing likes to prove it. The next generation grew up fast with technology, speed, and constant noise. They are creative. They are expressive. They are connected. But Gen X,
Generation Y, Y2K, 90s, 2000. That's when all this technology and phones and just like the Jetsons, everything from this cartoon called the Jetsons, they had the phones with the cameras that was talking to them. Everything was digital. They had cars that was flying in the air. All that stuff is happening right now.
Gen X is mentally tough. You can unplug. You can think independently. You can survive change because you've lived through it without tutorials. Psychology shows that growing up with fewer distractions builds stronger attention, deeper problem-solving skills, and emotional endurance.
Right.
That's you. You are the bridge generation between a world without technology and a world controlled by it. You understand the past. You adapted to the future. You learned both.
That's right. And see, I give salute to all my people from the Generation X, because we had to adapt to what's going on now. Like getting a job. We walked in the job business and we got an application, we filled it out. Now, in this generation, everything is online. You got to go online and do everything. So it's a lot of things that paying rent. A lot of people used to go to the rent office and pay your rent. Now, pay your rent off your phone.
You remember life before the internet, and you learned to survive after it. This made you adaptable, practical, balanced. You carry wisdom without bitterness. You don't need to announce your strength. It shows in how you move through life. Calm, capable, unshaken. You were raised in a world that made you strong before strong became a trend. So here is the real message.
It's facts.
If you are Gen X, your childhood made you strong. Your past made you resilient. Your silence hides wisdom.
And that's right. We got a lot of wisdom because we had to learn to do a lot of stuff ourselves. You couldn't Google nothing, and it wasn't nobody there to give you answers. You had to figure it out. If it ain't work that one day, try again the next day till you figure it out. So a lot of people in Generation X, we know how to do it without something. We know how to sacrifice. We know how to save. We know how to, if we ain't got no money, we know how to be cool.
Your calm hides power. So let me ask you something. When you remember your childhood, do you feel grateful, proud, Or a little nostalgic? Tell me in the comments. What part of your childhood do you miss the most? If this made you think different, hit subscribe. We go deeper every day. Don't forget to like the video. It helps more people find messages like this.
I like that generation. You know what I'm saying? We had a good Generation X. Let me know what y'all think down below in the comments. If you part of Generation X, do you agree? Do you agree that it was rough? We was lonely. We had to figure it out. I know one thing, it was respect. You respected your elders. You learned from people. You had to wait your turn in life. It was steps. You couldn't just start from the bottom and just jump all the way past people to the top. You had to earn it and work. Every level you had to work for it. So, yeah, man, Generation X. It's so many things I can go on with this topic. And let me know down below if I need to do another video on Generation X. And I'll probably do one on Generation Y, Z, and this generation now is Generation Beta. Make sure you please hit that subscribe button. We on our way to 1K subscribers. Shout out to the Don't Bite Your Tongue family. I love all of y'all. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you know when I'm pulling up with more exclusive content. This is your boy, Mafioso. Don't Bite Your Tongue, where it's too real for TV, too raw for the radio. We out. Peace.